FT2, we're back again. We're gonna do a video, me and the baby. We're gonna make a video today on how weightlifting and lifting weights can improve your FTP. So a lot of you guys are interested, at least from what I've heard, in getting into lifting weights and how that can either affect or improve your cycling. And while weightlifting isn't going to increase your aerobic capacity, it can help increase your FTP. Now, the way this kind of translates is basically you're putting down more power with less effort, you're having delayed fatigue, and you're able to do more with less maximal effort. So that's how that would increase your FTP. I'm not reading from a script or anything here. I'm just kind of talking about some of the things that I know, and I may be checking some references. I do have a study that I'll be referencing here a little bit later in the video as well. So one of the benefits of lifting weights is going to be increased neuromuscular efficiency. That basically just means you're going to be able to put down more power or higher power for longer periods of time and have less delay in fatigue. And how weightlifting helps that happen is when you're lifting weights, you're recruiting, heavy weights, right? Heavy weightlifting, not anything so heavy that it's like the powerlifting level, just heavy lifting, right? Not a 5-pound dumbbell for squats. That's not going to be heavy enough. So heavy lifting is going to call in more motor units, and it's going to ask those motor units to, recruit and do more. And it's also going to call in muscle fibers. So we all have, multiple different types of muscle fibers. And some people, a Olympic sprinter is going to have a different muscle fiber build than a power lifter or a Tour de France cyclist. So they're all going to have a different build of muscle fibers. And what these muscle fibers do is when you call them in for action, they're going to build and get stronger, and your body is going to change. So then when you bring that into your cycling, you're able to put down higher power, higher watts for hopefully a longer period of time. Another improvement that you'll kind of start to notice after maybe 8 to 10 weeks of lifting weights into your cycling is going to be increased force production. Increased force production basically means that at whatever power that you're wanting to put down or that you are putting down, it's going to be easier because you're able to put more force down. I guess interesting thing to mention is going to be different types of strength training. And if you are doing lower weight but higher reps, you're going to be working on that muscular endurance. And that muscular endurance it can, but it's not really going to help improve your FTP, because lower weight, higher reps, you are just solely working on endurance. And endurance training is great because let's say you could only do 40 minutes of biking and now you can do 60, but that is going to be the very beginner base of it. We are talking about building the FTP so we can improve and just stay stronger, be able to ride at a higher wattage with lower effort. So strength training is really going to help do that. Heavy strength training, you're going to be able to build those muscle fibers, you're going to be able to build the muscles, be able to tax them more, and so therefore when you turn into the bike, you can put down those higher wattages and have less effort doing so. One, honorable mention, which most of you guys probably know, but it's worth mentioning in my opinion, is going to be your core and your arms. So most of this you would think, legs, going to the gym and building my leg muscles is going to make me faster or have a higher FTP. And while that is completely true, I think the honorable mention is going to be your core and your arms. Your arms and your core are going to help your posture and your posture is going to be a big factor on your FTP and how you're riding. If you are in a very uncomfortable position, or I call it the leisure position, right? A leisure bike ride where your handlebars are high and your butt is low, the power is going to be difficult to put down. So having that race style setup where it's a little more uncomfortable, you have to have a strong core, you have to have good posture to be able to put down power for a long period of time. Okay, so now we are getting into the nitty-gritty scientific research, because it would not be worth making a video if I didn't have any evidence or proof or studies to back up what I'm talking about. The National Library of Medicine made an article post about strength training and cycling. The article is called "A Comparison of the Effect of Strength Training on Cycling Performance Between Men and Women." This is basically just comparing how strength training affects cycling. And what's really nice is this article includes men and women. Most articles you're going to find do not include women. So most articles are just solely based on men. And while we know men and women have much differences, I like this article because it looks at men and women, compares them, contrasts them, and sees the relationship that we are directly looking for. So I will also be, putting them up here. And the reason I'm looking at my phone is because these are the exact words. And I want to make sure that I'm not misinterpreting or misphrasing what this article had to say. When performing muscle contractions at the same relative intensities, women have been reported to be more resistant to muscle fatigue. And during endurance exercise at submaximal intensities, women oxidize proportionately more fat and less carbohydrate and protein than men. Now, I believe that is more of a common knowledge, maybe not as common knowledge, but women are going to have less fatigue, a little bit more room to burn fats than men, because women carry more fat than men. So that is just nice to kind of see. We're already seeing the differences in the men and women. Women are going to have an easier time going for longer rides than men statistically. Now this one is interesting because it is talking about closing gaps and all of that in bike racing. And we know that your FTP can highly correlate to how you do in a race. Another factor is important for the cycling performance in a mass start races is the ability to close gaps, break away from the pack, or perform well in the final sprint. The outcome of these crucial moments is largely decided by the anaerobic abilities and the size of the involved muscle mass. Based on the beneficial effects of heavy strength training on muscle strength and muscle mass, it is as expected that concurrent training has been reported to improve the ability to generate high power for a short period of time. Another part of this article says, therefore, it is possible that female cyclists have a larger potential for improving cycling economy than male cyclists by adding heavy strength training to their normal endurance training. So this is another statistic basically just saying that men and women are going to see improvements in their cycling and in their cycling endurance, but women are going to have an even bigger growth of that. During the 40-minute performance test, the female cyclist found an improvement from 78.9 to 82.2% of their VO2 max. So this is basically just stating that there is improvement. There is scientific improvement that the VO2 max, like the ability to use more of your VO2 max for that test, for that FTP test, is there, which in turn would be able to help you put down a higher FTP, more power for longer, higher FTP. Therefore, both male and female cyclists can incorporate heavy strength training into their training schedule for maximizing performance. However, the data indicates that the potential for improving cyclist economy with strength training might be greater in women. I know this may be kind of a different video than you're used to seeing, and I'm no means by a doctor, no means by telling you what you should be doing, but in my opinion, strength training is going to be very beneficial for your cycling, for your FTP. So try it out, give it 8-10 weeks and see how you're improving. If you feel like you've hit a plateau, switch it up, try something different, continue doing your cycling. Continue doing your cycling as normal. Add in a couple days of strength training. Don't neglect any body part. Don't say, okay, well, I want to improve my cycling, so I'm not going to do my arms. No. Treat your body as a temple, train it, build it, grow it. But thank you guys for watching. I know that I'm not the smartest person, but I will put all of the information that I got from here so you guys can read it yourself as well. But kind of you would think the common sense is lifting weights is going to make you stronger, therefore you're going to cycle better. So that is the easy gist of it. But if you want to get the technical side of things, go ahead, look at this amazing article. And again, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for supporting. Have a great day. And we're going to see if she can not have this attitude anymore, because she's being a little attitude queen today. Yes, you are. Yeah, she knows it too. But thank you guys and have a wonderful day.